Hi, my name is Louis Kerner and I'm a real estate investor. We're going to discuss several ways of stopping a foreclosure. A lot of homeowners, just like yourself watching this video, have either lost income, the mortgage payment increased due to an interest only or adjustable rate increasing, home is worth less than the mortgage owed, etc. Because of that, you submitted a loan modification request. So let's talk about the loan modification process. A lot of the times the bank's representatives will tell you, oh, it's going to take 60, 90 days. Then when it's over 90 days late, the bank sends in the mail a loan modification denial. And now the bank is putting you on notice that it will proceed with a foreclosure. Notice of default. If you receive this notice, then you really need to act quickly. It's really backwards how these banks work, but once the bank denies a loan modification, the next step is for the bank to go after their collateral, which is the property. The bank will start the foreclosure process with a notice of default. This notice varies from state to state. For example, the timeline for California, once the homeowner receives a notice of default, it would normally take 90 days for the foreclosure to take place. Again, this varies from state to state. Some states are quicker with the process and some states are longer with the foreclosure process. Consult with your local bankruptcy attorney for the foreclosure timelines within your state. The following steps will educate you and give you an understanding of where you stand with the foreclosure process. Bringing the loan current. This can be a possibility if you're just a couple months behind. By bringing the payments to current will stop the foreclosure with the bank, but more than likely you're more than 2 months behind, and if you are able to bring it up to date, you will have to make your regular mortgage payments. In a lot of cases, this is not possible because if you were able to make your mortgage payment, you wouldn't have fallen behind in the first place. So here's the next step, bankruptcy. You can consult with a bankruptcy attorney. I would recommend the attorneys who are free of charge. There's plenty of these attorneys that do not charge a consultation fee. Make that appointment. I suggest you write down all your questions beforehand. Ask as much about the bankruptcy process pertaining to stopping the foreclosure. Some of the questions you can ask, for example, can be, can the bankruptcy stop the foreclosure and modify my mortgage loan? Will I have to make the mortgage payment in order for the bankruptcy to go through? How long of a process is it to file bankruptcy? And what's the difference between Chapter 13 and Chapter 7, etc.? It's very important to consult with a bankruptcy attorney about your options. Again, go with the ones that has free consultation. Deed in lieu. This option is just like a voluntary foreclosure. The effects on your credit would just be like a foreclosure. Basically, instead of the bank following with the foreclosure process, you, as a homeowner, you're signing over the deed to the mortgage company. Now, this can only work if you're dealing with just one mortgage company. Again, the effects to you is just like a foreclosure on a voluntary basis. There's the repayment plan. This can be difficult to be approved. Being that the bank has already declined your loan modification, by declining the loan modification, the banks are in the position that you, as a homeowner, cannot afford to make the monthly mortgage payments. This is what you have to do. Call the bank, speak to a representative, and be personal with that representative. Explain to them the situation you're in, whether, for example, it can be the fact that you are expecting refinance your mortgage, but the programs you once qualified for are no longer available. You could also say something like, give me the opportunity to save my home, put me on some type of repayment plan until I can submit more paperwork for the loan modification approval. Now, it really depends on the bank's policy and the representatives you're speaking with. You have to understand these representatives are on their 9 to 5s. They're dealing with files after files. The banks are dealing with like a tsunami of homeowners, thousands upon thousands in the same situation you're in. So if that representative is being difficult, hang up and call again. There's hundreds of representatives you can talk to. Find the one that's going to work with you. Now, if you are approved for the repayment plan, you will be expected to pay your regular mortgage payments. And you have to negotiate just to pay your regular mortgage payment. The banks will send you your paperwork to sign, and you are given a deadline in reference to sending in your first payment. I recommend, if you can make that payment, to do so. This will place a hold on your foreclosure and buy you a little bit more time. Normally, another 2 to 4 months, which will give you more time to do research on your situation. The final step that we're going to go over is the short sale process. A short sale is basically asking the bank to settle for less than what is owed on the mortgage note. The reason you're asking for a short sale is because you feel that your mortgage is more than what the home is worth. Therefore, you cannot sell the home for what is owed on the mortgage. You as the homeowner will have to educate the bank that your mortgage amount is more than what the home is valued or what the home is appraised for. This can be difficult for the bank because in their system the house is still worth the amount you owe on the mortgage note. The short sale process can buy you another 3 to 8 months. You have to understand with this process is like a catch-22, to be honest with you, because either way you're losing your home. Whether it's foreclosure or short sale, but you have to put yourself in a situation where you can reestablish yourself a lot quicker, and you can do that with the short sale process. With the short sale, you really have to understand you're dealing with the inevitable. You're losing the home, but you want to be able to lose your house in a way that will benefit you and your family the most. While going through a short sale, save your money, being that you're not making mortgage payments and prepare to rent, etc. The short sale process can be a difficult process or an easy process. I recommend having a real estate investor like myself involved that specializes in the short sales process. I want you to have the understanding on what stage you're in deciding on how to deal with the situation you're in as far as your foreclosure. If you're ready to start the short sale process, I'll be happy to bring you on as a client. My services are free of charge. Here's what I want for you to do next. For your free report, which will give you more details and more steps on how to stop foreclosure, go to www.helpwithmortgage.com or call me at 1-888-904-8585. Fill out your information on the website here. Check your spam and your bulk mail for your free report. Again, this is Louis Criano. I'm a real estate investor, and I hope this video was helpful.